Hi guys, and welcome back to another episode of Let's Play Modded Minecraft. We're in FTB Revelation, and I am your humble host. See you later. And it's so good to be back with you guys. And we've got a pretty cool thing planned for today because I was checking my list up here, and I was looking at some of the projects that we've completed. And we did the elevators a couple of episodes ago, and I had some things on here. Transportation. We might take a look at that. More power we took care of in the last episode. And then grid power. Yeah, that's definitely something that we're going to be looking at today. But we're going to try to make it fun and not so cumbersome. So let me just plop our little list on the wall over there. And I've already got some things set up for us to take a look at. And if you're new to this series, I apologize for not having introduced you in quite some time to our buddy Spike. Spike was our wolf dog that we found on the very first day, on the very first evening of this map. And he is such a good pet. He's such a good buddy. He just occupies himself. He sits right where you tell him to sit. I've made him a little blanket on the floor here, so he's all nice and comfy. And as you can see, look at the one probe up at the top there. That's Spike's bone. So, yeah, he's all set. And he's such a good boy. Aren't you, Spike? You're a good boy. Aren't you? Are you a good boy? Alright, well, enough of that. So, let's take a look real quick at what I was talking about. First of all, in modded Minecraft, there are lots of different ways that you can get around. You can walk. You can jump. And you can run and jump at the same time. But since this is modded, there is nothing better in modded than being able to fly. And being able to fly, there's lots of different ways you can do it. You can get into jetpacks. You can get an angel ring. I think that's what we're going to work on. But I did want to take a look at something first, because we did add a mod called Flan's mod, and Flan's happens to add this vehicle crafting table over here. And as you can see, because, you know, we're doing our post-apocalyptic theme, there's this little buggy. We're going to check that out. And then right down here, there's also, since we were talking about flying, there are aircraft. And I want to take a look at this little guy right here, the MH6 Little Bird helicopter, because I thought that would be kind of cool to check out as well. And crafting in Flan's mod is a little bit different than other mods. You don't get necessarily a crafting recipe. What you get is told that you need a bunch of ingredients, and you have them in your inventory. And then you go over here. If you have everything, you can plop an engine in and hit craft, and you'll get it. So the first thing that we're going to take a look at is our buggy, and I believe we have all of the things that we need here. What I had to do for this was get a rotary engine. Now, this is a very iron intensive mod, and I actually did run out of iron a couple of times preparing for this episode and had to do a bunch of mining. But the rotary engine is pistons around a block of iron, and each one of these pistons requires 4 iron. And a flint and steel, so you can see just how expensive that is. We also needed to get some wheels, which is just leather around iron, and we needed to make up some what were those, seats, and the seats are just 5 iron and 3 leather. It gets you 2, and for this one we needed the 2, and this one happens to ask for 10 gray dye, so I got the gray dye. And it should be just as easy as going up to the buggy, which I believe is the very first item on the thing. It sees that you have the engine and all of the components, and it highlights the ability for you to craft it. And it should plop it right in your inventory. And there you look, you can see a little 3D model down there on the right side. It's really cool. So let's take a look at this. We'll come outside and plop it down on the ground. And for post-apocalyptic Minecraft Wasteland, I think this thing is really cool. Now, the way you operate it is just like a boat or a horse. You just right-click on it to mount it. And then once you're inside, you can hit the letter R, and that gets you to the interface for the vehicle. This has cargo slots, so you can hold cargo inside of it. You know, it has a trunk or a boot, depending on if you're from England. There is a fuel slot here, and it does require fuel, and there is also a repair system that lets you know if you have anything that needs to be repaired. So you got to have fuel. If you want to get out, you just hit shift and it dismounts you. And if I just run right in here real quick, I believe I do have a little bit of fuel. So let me just grab one of these. Now, I do have to warn you, there is a bug with this mod, and the bug is as such. When you're putting fuel in, you have to keep an eye on this. You can't let this go all the way down to 0. If this fuel tank gets all the way down to 0, something happens and it tries to replace it, I believe, with a model that doesn't exist, which is an empty tank. And if that happens, your game will crash completely to desktop. And I don't know how to get around that. But basically what I do is I just wait until it gets down to a little sliver at the bottom, or full, whichever comes first. And hopefully that will, and then we'll just snatch the fuel can out of there. And looks like this one does fill up all the way with one can with a little bit left over. So that's great. So we'll take that out. And then just so we don't accidentally have a problem with again, I'm going to throw it away. Okay, the fuel is not too expensive. It's only, I think, 1 iron and 4 coal. So now that we're in this guy, you can also use the F5 mode and see behind you when you're driving. It makes things a little bit easier in certain situations. Then you just press forward and you go. And the A and D keys will steer your steering wheel. And I have never driven this around before in this game, so I'm a little bit surprised that it's actually doing as well as it is with all these trees and everything. Whoa, what is happening now? Let me get into F5. If I try to drive forward, can I get out of this situation? Oh no, we're in a big thing over here. Okay, so let me try to stop it. Okay, let me back up just a little bit here. What a mess. Okay, I'm gonna dismount. Okay, and then change my view to first person. And if you want to pick one of these guys up, basically all you got to do is just walk up to it and punch it, and you'll get your item back. So I don't even know where we are now, but that was crazy. So if we're going to use the ground vehicle, we probably will need to make some sort of a road that we can drive on. And let's see, where are we going? I think we need to go back this way. But anyway, so let's go ahead and take a look back inside, and we will take a look at the other option that I was taking a look at, and that is the Little Bird helicopter. So I got a propeller, a metal tail, another rotary engine, 5 helicopter blades, a cockpit, helicopter skids, and 5 ink sacs. So let me grab all of that, and we should be able to walk over here and scroll down to the aircraft section. And there's all the stuff that we need for our Little Bird. We'll craft this guy up. And again, what a cool little 3D model we have there. And I think for this one, we're going to take it up to the brick floor that's up here on the 4th level, which is right over here. And we'll set this guy down. And I think this could be a great area for a helicopter launch pad. And look at this guy. Isn't that cool? That's so neat. Alright, well, it's getting ready to be nighttime, and I don't want to go out at night, so I'll go ahead and go grab some more fuel and take a sleep, and then we'll be right back. Alright, guys, we're back. I had a little lovely sleep and grabbed us a couple of cans of fuel, so let's hop in this thing. And I think the pilot sits on helicopters on the right-hand side. So let me try to mount the helicopter over here. And then we'll check out our, now this one is, because it's an aircraft, some of the aircraft you can put guns and missiles and bombs and things like that, but the Little Bird doesn't have, and it also doesn't have a cargo either. So let's just take a look at the fuel. I'm going to put some fuel in, and as soon as you fuel it up, it starts going. Okay, I'm going to turn the game sounds down just a little bit because that is pretty loud in my earballs. All right, so let's see. I got to get back in there. I don't want that fuel can to run out. Okay, I don't want to run into our house either. Oh, okay, I wasn't ready, but I think we're already, we're flying, you guys. We're flying. We've got flight. Oh no, we're caught on a tree. Oh no. Okay, let me see if I can, maybe it'd be easier in F5. Okay, yeah, F5, that's a little bit easier. Okay, so let's get leveled off here. Okay, we'll get leveled off. And then turn around. Maybe point us forward. Okay, so if you push forward, that gets you going into the forward flight. And then if you want to turn, you kind of have to both bank and use the A and the D keys. But look, there's our lost city that's over near the house. And then if we want to go back to the base, we should be able to just turn around here. Just like that. And we'll just have to take it a little bit easy. This guy definitely takes some getting used to. Flying it is not easy. And then when you want to go down, you just press the S key. W for going up and S for going down. And I don't want to run into anything, so let's see if we just careful, slowly keep it level. Maybe turn a little bit more. Okay, we lost the sound on it. That was a little bit weird. And we'll just go down here. And that's a pretty successful set down if you ask me. Alright, so there we go. But I'll be quite honest with you, again, with the Flan's mod, that is a really cool thing, but I don't think that's exactly what we're looking for. Although this is going to be tons of fun to play with, what we really need is some creative flight. So that's what we are going to work on right now. I will meet you back down in the workshop. Alright guys, we're back down in the workshop. I'm saying hi to Spike again, and I'm going to take our cool little vehicles that we just played with, our little buggy and our helicopter, and I'm just going to store them away in this little storage crate right over here. So let's take a look at what we're going to do for our creative flight. I have checked out the available stuff that's in this mod. I am not a big fan of the jetpacks and things like that. I find them a little bit maintenance intensive. And so I've decided to go ahead and go the extra utilities to angel ring route. And the way you're going to do that is pretty easy. You need to craft a chicken wing ring, and that's made just like this. And you have to get a golden lasso and catch a chicken. So I've already done that. Golden lasso, if you want to see, I have a couple here. There's also a cursed lasso that's going to be needed a little bit later, and I'll explain that when we get there. But the first one is going to be the chicken wing ring. So let's go ahead and craft that. Now, if I just have this in my inventory, whenever I am falling down, so I'll just show you how it works. We'll go up to the top floor and jump off. And when you are looking at this item here, it shows you that you have it. You're going to use 5.38 out of 9 grid power. See there in the tooltip, it says so, and the 9 that we have are just these. There's some solar panels. I don't know if you can see them. I just have some solar panels up here, so that's not going to cut it for our grid power for very long. But if I jump off of here, I should be able to hold down the space bar, and you can see it just gives you a slow falling effect. Now when that blue bar runs out, you're done. If you're still too high up, you're still going to fall. So that's no good. The next thing that we're going to take a look at, oh, and by the way, you do end up getting your golden lasso back. You don't have to make as many of them as I did, but I don't mind having extra ones because they're useful for catching other mobs and, you know, chickens and pigs and things like that. Also, these two, like I mentioned before, I had caught some villagers with the capturing wand. I also have a couple of villagers that are good for some straight string trades, and one that's good, really good for a coal trade in there. And that's how I've been getting my emeralds. So the next step to this process is you're going to take your chicken wing ring and use it as an ingredient to get you the ring of the flying squid. Now, I've heard people say that this doesn't make any sense and that the crafting is silly, but I think it actually does make sense. Squids have ink jets, and this works kind of like a jet pack. See, it says jet propulsion at your fingertips, and it's not cheap. You got to use a couple of diamonds and an ender pearl, and everybody knows ender pearls are magic. So to me, just having a live squid stored inside of your ring of the flying squid makes perfect sense. So we'll go ahead and craft that guy. We'll get our golden lasso back. Now this time, if I try to do anything, there's nothing happening. And that is because this guy requires 16 GP, and currently we are attempting to use 20.38 GP, and we are only producing 9. So we have to fix this situation. And I'm going to go ahead and explain this as simply as possible. The water mill is the only decent way early game to generate GP that will not give you a headache and make you want to pull your hair out of your head. The water mill gives you 4 GP per side if you set up the water a certain way to flow around it. You can't put it right next to a source block. It has to be next to flowing water. There are some other generators. There's a lava one, a fire one, and a wind one. And trust me, they're all pretty much crap. So this one is the way to go. You want to get yourself at least a few. And I've decided that we're going to go with a setup for 8. And I tested out these 4 already, but I'll go ahead and when we do the others, and I'll show you the rest of them. So let's head out back here. And right underneath where we have our tree resin production, I have set up this little area. Now there are basically an infinite number of ways that you can set these guys up and have it work just fine. But the way I have it here is there is a source block of water here that is flowing this way and this way. And then there is a source block of water right here on this block, and it's flowing this way and this way. So if we plunk down a water mill right in the middle where the source blocks are on either corner, not on the sides, this generator will generate 16 RF. Now you can see that we're generating 25. Excuse me, it's not RF, it's GP, grid power. So now that you can see we're generating, well, it was 25, but now because it's getting nighttime, we don't have 25. It went down to 16 because this is our only GP that runs day and night for right now. So what we can do is I've set that same system up where we have the source blocks on the corners, and as long as you put 2 source blocks right next to each other, you don't have a problem. But you can't put one and then leave a space and then one, or it'll make a infinite water source. You guys know that. So that's the thing that you want to avoid there. So if we put one here, and then I've got the same thing set up here, and then the same thing set up right here, and that way each of the sides, each of the 4 sides of this block is at the highest level possible of flowing water because it's only one away from the source. So each one is generating 16. And that gives us a total of 64 GP, which is great. However, if you have plans of doing things with other parts of the mod from extra utilities, like using speed upgrades or anything like that, that's going to take more. And if you're going to be flying around with your angel ring or using your ring of the flying squid, then you're probably going to want to make a little bit more of these generators just to make sure that you don't have any issues with GP. So let me go ahead. I'm going to clear out this area and get some more water set up, and then I'll show you how we're going to plop down these other 4. And then I will explain to you the other bit of cumbersome nature of GP, which is efficiency loss. So I will do that, and I'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back, and so I've reconfigured this a little bit since I was using the 4 before. Now we have 8, and I think this is going to be a pretty good setup for the 8. So let me show you what I'm going to do. I'm going to put down this well from Pam's Harvest Craft, which basically serves as a mobile infinite water source. Now with them set up in this kind of diamond configuration, you want to put your one source block right in the middle. Okay, that's going to give all of these 4. This will have 4 per side that's touching this flowing water block. So that'll have 4 on 2 sides, which means it's going to get 8. This has it on one side, which means it's getting 4. So then what you want to do is you want to go and put in each of the corners a source block. And make sure you don't put the source block directly beside. Like, you don't want to put it here. You want to put it here so that it goes in at an angle. And then that will get you the majority of your sides covered. For instance, this one here is generating 16. But this one's only generating 12 because it has one more side that doesn't have the flowing. So this one, I'm just going to put the source block back here and let it have one space to flow into the back side. I will do that 3 more times. And once over here, and once over here, and we are done. So now we have the most possible. So this one says generating 14, this one's 16, this one is 16. I don't know why this one is 14. That's a little bit unusual. This one says 13. Aha! I can see why we're having an issue. See, I put this one in the wrong spot. It needs to be right over here. And I'll just pick it up and move it over, and we'll plop down a couple blocks here. So now this guy should be, oh, and that means we lost our source for that corner. You guys get to see me derping on camera, which is okay. It happens. So now let's check these guys out. 16, 16, 16, 16, 16 all around. So everybody is generating 16. So 16 times 4 is 64, and 64 times 2 is 128. Why are we only getting 115? Aha, there is an issue. See at the bottom where it says effective power is 13.33 because we have 17% overall efficiency loss. And if we take a look at the water mill in JEI, you will see that it says, if you hold down shift, progressive efficiency loss, 0 to 64, none. So as long as you only have 4, you'll get 16 per, and you'll get exactly 64. But then, when you go from 64 to 128, which takes 8 water mills, which is what we have, then each one is going to have an efficiency loss of 33%. So you're basically only going to get a third of the power from each one of these with the configuration that we have now. However, there's not really a way around that, because it's not like you can just move the other 4 somewhere else, because GP is everywhere. It's with you all the time. It's not connected to any pipes or wires or lines. It's a wireless power, and it's connected to you as a player. So because I'm the one who placed down these blocks, this GP actually belongs to me. And I'm not sure exactly how that works on multiplayer servers, because I mostly play in single player worlds. But I will tell you that 115 is more than enough, 10 times more than enough. Well, maybe not 10 times more than enough, but it's plenty more than enough for what we need just to get around with our Ring of the Flying Squid, and then hopefully later on with our Angel Ring. So I'm going to go ahead and close that off, because I don't really want to, it's just out of the way. This chunk happens to be loaded, and as long as that chunk is loaded, no matter where I am, no matter what world I'm in, no matter if I'm in the Nether or wherever, I'm always going to have that GP. And anytime you mouse over, you can see how many GP you have and how many you're going to use. Now, one word of caution, if you do start using other items from extra utilities that use GP, you are running the risk, if you do overload the system, it's not like other mods where things will just slow down or work slowly. Everything everything that is connected to this mod will stop completely if you go over your GP generation. So if we have 115.68 GP being used, nothing will function. And it's not like certain items or anything like that. Nothing will function at all. So now, we did all of that just so we could get the 16 GP that we needed to show how the Ring of the Flying Squid works. And I'm just going to come out here, and I'm just going to press the spacebar. Just going to press it down once. And check it out. We go up, up, up. And you see the little blue bar above the XP. When it runs out, so do you. And it will generate most of the time, or I believe all of the time, it will generate slower than you can use it. You'll be able to use it much faster than you can regen. So you cannot stay lofted for an indefinite amount of time with this. So one of the ways I've been getting around before I had the idea to do this episode is we made this very early on, which was the slime sling. I can't talk today. And you guys know if you do that, it flings you up in the air. Another mod, OpenBlocks, adds a really cool item that is this hang glider. So if you use these in combination, like let's say for instance I point over this way, go up, and then quickly go and switch to the hang glider, I can now glide around. I'm slowly falling down. Okay, and this is an excellent cheap way early game to get around. It's a little bit, you have to jump and then you put it on, so you can fly around, go over here, get to where you want to go to, and then change, and then do it all over again. Jump up, switch to the hang glider, and then glide back over to where you want to go again. When you just right click, it puts it away and you fall down. You can take fall damage with all of these things. The ring does not prevent fall damage. Obviously neither of these prevent fall damage. I have long fall boots on, which negate all fall damage. Slimy boots are another option for that if you want to make slimy boots from Tinkers. But what we really want to do is see what we can do by using these things in combination. And the reason I'm interested in that is because we are going to need to go and get something that is going to be very difficult to obtain, and that is we're going to need to catch a ghast. And to catch a ghast, there is nothing more helpful than this Ring of the Flying Squid, because when you're getting around in the nether, it's very difficult to catch a ghast unless you can fly over to where they are already, and you need them to get the angel ring. So one last trick I want to show you before we cut to the chase of trying to find a ghast is I just want to show you this cool trick. You can, once you have the squid ring, jump up with your slime sling, then press spacebar to get even more height and get way up high in the sky. Okay, I'm going to show you the whole full limit, and then right before you start to fall, get your hang glider, and notice the bar is refilling for the squid ring. And if I want to now with the squid ring, I can press spacebar and we will actually continue to go up, even though I'm still using the hang glider. I believe that when you're doing this, you will not go forward, so it does kind of pause you in the air. But as you can see, this does allow you with this combination to get to get infinite flight early game. It's not creative flight, but it is pretty much infinite. I mean, you can continue to fly just all day long. So I'm gonna fly back over to the base. Alright guys, we're back here in the workshop at the crafting stations I had set up before, and here is the final recipe. You're going to take your Ring of the Flying Squid and put it in here, and we're missing one thing. So if I just click over here on the angel ring, we are going to have to use a cursed lasso, and we're going to have to get a ghast inside of it. Cursed lassos are kind of interesting because you can't actually capture a mob unless the mob is at a very low health. So we're actually going to have to catch a ghast somehow, beat it down to get it at a low health, and then right click it with this cursed lasso to trap it inside. That can be exceedingly difficult to do if you don't use any other mods. I have done that in the past, and it can take hours and hours, and you're going to kill many ghasts if you can even find them. They're difficult to find sometimes, especially in modded where we have different kinds of mobs that are spawning in the nether, so they're taking up the mob cap. Makes ghast even a little more rare. So for right now, what we're going to do is, my plan is we're going to take the Ring of the Flying Squid and Hang Glider, and we're going to use them in combination with each other. So I'll be able to rise myself up and then glide, and then fall down, and then rise myself up, glide, and then fall down in the nether. And then when we do encounter a ghast, I'm going to catch him in a mob imprisonment tool. I'm not going to use a cursed lasso. And the reason I'm going to do that is because this will capture the mob at full health, and then we can take him somewhere else, like our mob farm, and we can duplicate him and get a bunch more ghast tears, and we can make more of these mob imprisonment tools. The other thing that we can do is we can capture one that's been duplicated, take it into a room that is just big enough to spawn it in, and that way you can kind of cheese it. You can, just hit him a couple times, put him back. Hit him a couple times, put him back before he blows you up. Now, this is a very dangerous outing, and in order to help us out, I did upgrade our Tinker's Constructs Armory Addendum armor, and I used the Manilin for the helmet, the chest plate, and the pants, leggings, and they also have cobalt plates, and they have trim that is made of steel, and so that gives us a little bit quicker of movement speed. And the other thing that I did is I added some modifiers, so you can see that one at underneath where it says Indomitable, it says resistance 8. This one has resistance 3, and this one has fire resistance 8. So we do have some resistant armor, and if you take a look at our little armor stuff down here, we actually are 1 shield and a half better than diamond armor. So we're pretty well protected, and if I fall in the lava, I do have time to get out of the lava, hopefully. And at least if I don't, we have the gravestone, so I know I'm not going to lose all of my stuff. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to head into the nether, and we're going to go down into our little tunnel down here, and I don't want this episode to go too long, so what I'll probably do is I'll record, and then whenever I get near a ghast, I will come back with you guys and show you what I came up with. So wish me luck. This could take a while, and I will see you when it is done. Alright, I hear one. Where is he? Probably right over the lava. That's where they always are. Sounds like he's go. Here we go. Did I get him? Did I get him? I got him. Yes. Okay. Wow, that was awesome, you guys. That didn't really take long. It literally only took me a couple of minutes. So I'm glad I was recording. And yeah, so now what we want to do is head back and figure out how we are going to cheese this guy. I cannot believe that went so quickly and easily. That has never happened that quickly for me before. And we're not done though. We haven't won the battle yet, and there is still the possibility that we could screw up, because we are going to have to catch this guy in the cursed lasso. Alright guys, we're back at the base and I'm underneath the mob farm right now because I don't know if this is going to work, but what I would like to do before we go crazy is I would like to try out to see, will this mob duplicator duplicate this ghast in our mob farm? And if it will, I hope if there's enough space it will. If there's not enough space it won't. So let me head up to the second level and we'll see if it is actually spawning him in. And if there's not enough space, it won't spawn them in. And it could be possible there's not enough space because we have this disturbed spawner in the way. So let me go ahead and break that and get out of here. Yeah, now we got it. Now we got it. Okay, so now what we need to do is I'm going to get a couple of more of those safari nets. Excuse me, that's what they used to be called. They're called mob imprisonment tools. And the way that we're going to do that is I need to unlock a drawer down here until we get a ghast tier so that we can start farming up ghast tiers. And the way I'll just unlock this one and we'll get a ghast tier in there. And I think in my tool bag I have the drawer key. And I'll just unlock this drawer. And we should, as soon as we do, we should see there is a ghast tier. And I don't know if they drop anything else. I don't believe they do. Or if they do, it's probably the gunpowder we already have, the sulfur we're already collecting, and the XP. So I don't think there's any other additional drops other than that. But as you can see, we're getting 7 ghast tiers there, 8. It looks like we're getting one just about every time it spawns in a ghast. And that is awesome. So I'll go ahead and I don't see any other items coming in, so I'm going to go ahead and lock that back. And then what we're going to do is I'm going to take, now that that's locked, I'm going to take all of them that are made so far, and I'm going to go make some more of those. So I actually don't have to go anywhere. I have my tablet here. And we can just go to the mob entrapment tool, which is this guy right here. And I'm just going to craft up a bunch of them. Let's see if we can do, how about 8? That's great. And why would I need 8 of these, you say? Well, what I'd like to be able to do is, you know, go get a cow and a chicken and a sheep and a pig and maybe some other special mobs that we have from the modded. And I would like to make sure that when we have these, what we can do is we can plug those into our mob farm. And let's say I need a bunch of leather, or I'm running low on leather, I can just plug a cow in there, and then I'll start getting leather and steak. So that's our food taken care of as well. And if we take a look over here, these guys are producing energy. This is what we set up in the last episode, so pretty happy about that. And it looks like our mob farm basically is, it only requires just this one to run off of. And yeah, it's running in stasis. So, and it's only using 115 RF out of its maximum potential of 320. So we're really good now on power, and we're very, very close to creative flight. We're not there yet. We still have to take this guy and we have to get him into the cursed lasso. So I'm going to work on that, and I'll be right back. Alright you guys, we're back, and I've given this some thought, and I have an idea. I don't know if it's going to work, but what we're going to do is, I was going to dig a big hole down somewhere and surround it with stone and try to use the mob doohickey and do it that way. But I think, since we're spawning him in up here, if I just pause the mob crusher so it doesn't kill him, and I just come over here to the mob duplicator, and I just let it do 1, just like that. And that totally works. Oh, this is awesome. So, yeah, so we have a ghast. If we would go up, we can see he's up there. And the thing is, they will not try to aggro you unless you are in line of sight with them. So you can see he's inside of our mob farm there. And I believe you can see his line of sight if you hit F3 and B. Hitboxes, does that work? Maybe it does not work through the ineffable glass. Okay, yeah, I don't want to take a chance. There it goes. So I did aggro him for just a second. He felt our presence when I popped through. But see how it's got that red line there? That is his eye line. That's where he can see you. I don't know if he can see you. I don't think he can see underneath. So what I'd like to do is I'll hit F3B again to hide the hitboxes. If I can, I'll go back down here and we'll just try to take out one piece of dirt right underneath him, right here. And we'll see, can I just dig one? Looks like I can. Dig one dirt away. And if I'm down here, will he... He's blowing stuff up already. Okay, so he is getting aggroed. You know what? Bases were built to be built to be rebuilt. So let's just see what happens if I punch him. Okay. He moved. So if I do it again, give him a punch. A couple more punches. I got to get his hearts down. Got to get his hitbox. And I can put this cursed earth back later. That's fine. I don't know what he's blowing up upstairs. I hope it's not bad. But let's see if I can get back underneath this guy again. I think because we got him down a few hearts already. Right? Can we get him yet? Nope. He keeps backing up. Let's see. I think we got him against the wall now, though. Let me try this one right here. Where's his hitbox? Okay. Don't want to fly up there because he's definitely going to hit us if we do that. I'm not able to get to his hitbox there. Let me take another piece of dirt out here. Here. Got him. All right, so that was a way to cheese it, you guys. So let me grab our dank null, and I'll set that on dirt, which is right there, and I'll go ahead and patch up these holes. Okay, and it's none. There's no damage. So the ineffable glass, I don't know if he hit it or not, but if he didn't hit it, then great. If he did hit it, then it is blast resistant. I don't actually know the blast resistant properties, but what I do know is that all the rest of this stuff that's in here is chisel cobblestone, and I do know that ghasts cannot blow up cobblestone, so that's great. The next thing we need to do to fix this floor is really easy, and I can do that anytime. Oh, look at that. It's spreading, so it's going to fix itself, I think. So we'll just leave that alone. I was going to say you could use another drop of evil and kind of, recast the cursed earth across the floor, but looks like that might be spreading, and it may even go ahead and repair itself. So that's awesome. So yeah, without further ado, let's get down to the workshop. Up to the workshop. All right, and I'm pretty excited, you guys, because we can now oh, and you do need a bat, but bats are easy because you can just put those in the golden lasso. And I just had the golden lasso with me while I was out mining, and just as soon as the first time I saw a bat, I said, okay, you're mine, and I grabbed the first bat I saw. So yeah, enough talking. Ring of the Flying Squid, put it in the middle, and Angel Ring, and we get our lassos back. Angel Ring, is this cool? No more jetpack, so if I hold spacebar, nothing happens, but double tap, and look at this, you guys. What in the world? Look at this. We have creative flight, and we can fly just like this all the way to the moon. All right, guys, this has been an awesome episode. I am so happy that we did this together. I'm so happy that you came and hung out with me. I'm see you later, guys. And I'll see you later. I got some flying to do. Bye-bye.